Let's do a little tourino of how things are so far. So I'm just going to quickly, actually, I'll leave this tripod the way it is. We'll take this guy down. Okay, so here we go. So this is the new presentation area that we're working on. Oh, oh no, I had it right. Okay, we're on the delay. So essentially, this is where I'm going to be filming a lot of my videos. We're going to be putting some workbenches in here, and then behind this area we've got like a little console setup and stuff. And this area is going to be for like if we wanted to do a video with Nintendo Switch, or even a live stream, like couch multiplayer kind of thing. And we'll head down this hallway here.
I just had a thought too, Dan. We should turn off our Wi-Fi on our devices to free up all the bandwidth.
Good call. Okay, so this is the bedroom, or former bedroom, or where my brother's room will be. We have a fake bed set up here because they came to measure windows today, and we just wanted them to think that someone was here all the time. But this will be his studio for the time being. And in about 6 months anyway, we're moving to another location, which will be our permanent home. And that's actually within our dad's store. I don't know if that's what you guys were talking about earlier, but oh, we don't want to show that stuff. It's Canada, whatever. Anyway, here we go. So that's the tour. I'm going to bring it back, pop her right on the tripod again.
Yeah, and then I'll be able to see where I can put some lights up. Yeah, the shop is going to be so cool when we get to move in there. I spilled the beans that we're going to move into the antique shop.
Oh, I just mentioned that too, yeah. So that's fine. But good. Basically, we're going to be here for about 6 months, I think. And after that, like I said, we'll have a permanent place where we can build our own wall fixtures and stuff, and have kind of like a workshop space and a presentation space. And I'm going to have like 2 work benches so that if we have a project that's going on that needs parts and we're waiting on parts, I don't have to clean all that up and put it to the side again. We can just start working on something on the bench next to it and finish that up and then get back to the other one. So I think it's going to be pretty nifty. We're going to run it like a 2-bay mechanics garage, but for ye old computers. Ye old computers.
Don't watch that clipping.
Okay. A dance like that.
These microphones.
All right. Oh yeah, I shouldn't have been loud like that too. It's been 6 minutes without a burp. I'm so sorry, Uri.
We had to stop with that. People
genuinely get disgusted. Yeah. We were noticing dips in our videos when a burp would happen.
Lower the volume.
Oh yeah. I gotta move my clip down a bit.
They're just kind of sensitive, these microphones, I noticed.
We were noticing dips in our I got it right on my nip.
On our analytics?
On my nip. Yeah, we were noticing dips on the analytics when I would burp, which is a shame because I'm quite good at it, but it would appear that that is not what the people see. Which, so be it, Yeah, so be it.
So be it.
So anyway, right now, it's a lot cleaner than it was even this morning. I've moved this couch into this corner. I've moved this TV with Stack's help. Like even 2 hours ago, there were still just huge parts piles everywhere, and we're kind of just trying to slide stuff around as we move things more permanently into place, like moving all the shelves and everything that I had on that wall over here. Actually, I did a pretty poor job of showing off the storage racks because I got freaked out. So let's have a look at those real quick.
Yeah.
So I moved all my metal racks over here to store computer stuff. This is the old area where I used to film all the content. I'm sorry it's chopping, folks. But this is now like the annex. And we're hoping to get one more shelf or something that'll go in this corner because obviously there are piles everywhere. But that's the old spot. And this will be the new one. Maybe that's a bit more clear. Here's Stack working his nuts off. Producer Stack working off his nuts. Anywho, let's get some stuff hooked up if we can. I also want to deal with this coffee table, so maybe that's what I'll work on. Also got to get that Plex server machine set up, but I think I'll do that on the desk that you are using currently when that's free. My buddy Rory's old CRT TV, covered in glow-in-the-dark planet and star stickers. I tried to remove some of them, and it appears that they've become one with the plastic, so figured I'll leave them on there for now until I feel like giving this TV an alcohol bath.
Who doesn't love a good alcohol bath?
Well, especially if you're looking to dry your fingers out completely.
It's like my favorite thing.
It's a good thing to do for that.
Oh, that's way too high up. Okay.
Right. What's that line from The Room? Lisa, you're killing me, Lisa. Is it Lisa?
I've never seen The Room.
Oh my God.
I'm not generally one of those it's so bad it's good kind of people.
Okay, sound is perfect. Looked at pics of his shop. It's super cool. Jeremy's Hillbilly Shack. For my mom's interest, I'd like to know what your dad still has for sale. The small whatnots or knickknacks. You're tearing me apart, Lisa. That's the line. Thank you, Tom. It is Lisa. Yeah, as far as stuff that our dad still has for sale, there's tons of stuff like dinky toys and, you know, depression glass and God, lots and lots of stuff. Like way too much to list. I would highly suggest checking out the site if you can. If you're not local, I mean, he's down to ship and all that, but it just makes it tougher.
He sells worldwide regularly. Kind of like the one who taught us how to ship that stuff.
This makes it harder to know what inventory exists at any given time.
There we go. Sorry that you guys are going to have a studio light basically in the bottom of the frame, but that seems to be where we were needing the light, was this corner.
Oh.
Yes.
Ooh.
Now I get to sort cables.
All right. Show us what you got.
Yeah. So our dad's actually, if you are local, still operating his store Fridays and Saturdays just to blow stuff out for the next couple months. But then once his fiscal year ends, then it's over.
Blowing out the rectum.
Okay.
Darn near killed him. Classic phrase. Oh man, there's so much stuff here to put away. Like, holy crap.
It is quite a drive.
This truly is the collector channel, right? Like, I think some people wonder if I sell these things or flip them. Like,
is this an eSATA cable?
My life has just become more filled with computers over time because we don't sell them. That is Firewire, just a massive Firewire.
Man, eSATA was so freaking good. I've got a eSATA drive. I took a PVR expander from our local cable company, Shaw, ripped the air checking drive out of it, put a 1 terabyte spinning disk 3.5 inch that I had pulled out of my gaming PC when I got my first SSD, and I was just sitting on it. And that thing as an external drive is fantastic. eSATA was so good for transfer speeds and everything. I wish that it had stuck around.
Pour some of your 40 out for eSATA.
Yeah, I had to buy an eSATA card for my media machine just to use this thing because I didn't have anything else that could accept it. I personally and stupidly thought that eSATA ports looked enough like SATA ports that you could just reach the cable inside and just plug it into a SATA port. As it turns out, you can't do that. So I had to buy a card.
How dare you?
Yeah, pretty much, hey?
A typing tutor with letter invaders. Typing tutor 5. Here's some neat stuff. Railroads from the New York World's Fair, 1939.
Sid Meier's Railroads is really good.
Canadian National Railways tourist map of Canada and the United States from, my God.
Jeremy's Vintage Hillbilly Shack says one small computer item that I'm in search of is one of the first Macintosh Apple IIc mice.
Vancouver Island and its holiday resorts.
Do you have any of those old mice there, Dan?
Which one?
The first Macintosh Apple IIc mice.
Apple IIc, I don't think specifically. No, I don't think so. I have original compact Mac mice.
Ooh.
Oh, this is neat. This is from a local theater here in Winnipeg, the Walker Theater, the 1923-24 season. Oh, yeah.
the Walker Theater, which became the Burton Cummings Theater, and he had an agreement with them to put on, I think it was like 7 concerts or something to help pay.
Don't say Cummings.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, I thought you meant because he's litigious.
No.
Anyway, so I think he did like 2 or 3 concerts and they didn't sell well enough, so they just didn't do anymore. And people were like, he never fulfilled his obligation. No, he was willing to.
He was down.
It just turns out he wasn't as big a deal still as I guess they thought he was when they made the deal.
I think all the people that were interested in seeing him live were like, yeah, I'll just stay home. I'm tired.
Hello, new subscriber from Finland. Watched every video. Holy mackerel. No.
Oh, wow. What's up, man?
Every
or
video?
Woman? Or whatever.
XPRT? There's no way you... Every video?
Oh, that's flattering. Thank you very much.
That's incroyable.
You know what I'm saying?
What brought you here? How did you find us?
Yeah, how'd this happen?
You know what? Were you at LTX?
We're just a little Canadian crap fest over here.
Yeah. Oh, and if anybody was wondering about our Verbo horror story, we've gotten to a point now where our credit card is fighting with them.
Okay. You should refresh folks on what happened there.
Yeah. So we booked a VRBO. Then right before we're leaving, I think Dan's partner wanted to know where it was.
His girlfriend was like, "Oh, show me the listing. It sounds neat." And I'm like, "All right, send me the listing." And then
it had some new reviews on it since we had booked, and the reviews are basically just like, "This place is disgusting."
Reviews were like, without saying you're gonna die, they basically said you're gonna die.
Like only running water in the powder room, and there was blood on the walls and black mold, and I've seen better furniture by
condoms. Like. Yeah. Do you really want to see the word condom on a review for a place you're supposed to sleep in another city? Like, just
yeah. Anyway,
what?
So I call them and I'm just like, hey, like, you know, we've been looking at going out. There's wildfires and everything. Like, you have it in your heart to refund us because we're outside of the refund period. And the host said yes, and then just never processed the refund. And then I've been fighting with VRBO, and you know, I had to take to social media just to get them to even acknowledge the issue. And my credit card now seems to have gotten a refund, but apparently they have like 50 days to fight it. And so if they don't fight it, then I'll be releasing a video with the full story. And also our cousin Spencer came to the rescue, let us stay in his basement apartment that he lives in. Well, not apartment, like basement suite at a house. And then we actually, as recompense, helped him fix his really high-end gaming computer. That was
did you hear back from Spenny about how it's working?
No, I haven't followed up with him yet, but basically what it looked like was he was getting a driver error, which might have been a hardware issue, but what we did instead is we did like a Windows repair and a bunch of stuff because his AMD drivers were failing. And basically I was just like, look, if you're not willing to do like a full format, then like that's probably what it needs. But if it's a hardware issue where the drive, because sometimes it manifests as a driver error, like with that RX 570 we have, where it just won't take installed drivers, but turns out that's a hardware issue that just manifests in that way. And we just gave him enough money. We gave him a couple $100 because that's how much a used GTX 1080 is. It would perform about the same as the video card he had in his computer. And then you have NVIDIA drivers, which say what you want about one or the other. If one of them is constantly having problems, then you just install the other. That could solve your issue. Canadian named Spenny. Does he have a friend called Kenny? Yes, and they compete constantly. No, just kidding. Our cousin Spenny is not anywhere near the level of neurotic as Spencer Rice.
Oh, God, Spencer Rice.
You know what? Kenny versus Spenny would have been better if it was 2 Kennys.
That guy got such a raw deal.
I just wanted to see 2 guys who are like, you know, cheating their asses off against each other.
All it was 2 40-year-olds with a history of bullying, just bullying.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I thought it was such a great show. And then my buddy Tim and I used to have this radio show called Gray Area of Comedy where we would interview comedians because we were doing stand-up and stuff. And we interviewed Kenny and Spenny. And I remember in that interview, it was obvious, like, it wasn't a gag. Like, it was obvious that, like, Spenny had a lot of problems with Kenny, and Kenny just treated him like garbage. And, like, just basically what happened was,
they're like Bart and Milhouse.
Kenny treated him so poorly that Spenny quit the call, and then Kenny just sat there berating us afterward for like 15 minutes till we were like, okay, well, see you later.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, very much like a Bart Milhouse style relationship.
Like the kind of conversation it was like is like I remember Kenny was like, oh yeah, we were like, so what do you like to do when you're not on the show? And he's like, oh, I play lots of Xbox, lots of Call of Duty. And we're like, oh yeah, you like playing Call of Duty? And he's like, you guys wish you could play with me. I'm like, that's a weird statement to make. You know what I mean?
He might have been one of the first people to experience parasocial relationships from that side.
Yeah, maybe.
Because like their content was reality content. Basically, like nowadays it would have just been streamed, right? And I think that they kind of like were the first Canadians to be jumping off that gap there.
I remember the vibe of the conversation was just like, this guy thinks we're pieces of crap, obviously, and for some reason, it's upsetting him. So like,
yeah, we got a few more.
Just jump off the call, I guess.
We got a few more things from chat. XPRT said they did watch every video and they just started getting into computers and came across our channel.
Oh, that's awesome.
What generation?
Wild.
What generation computers got your attention? Also, we've got some other people join the chat. Jeremy's Vintage Hillbilly Shack asks, are y'all going to VCFMW?
VCFMW?
Vintage Computer Fest Midwest?
Is that the one in Chicago?
I don't know, but we will find out.
No, I don't think that is the one in Chicago, is it?
We got a pretty good group watching right now. We've got Kamoski, who just waved.
Oh, that's probably Justin.
Yeah, and Jeremy's Vintage Hillbilly Shack confirms yes, Chicago. Expert bought an older ThinkPad, interest in laptops in general. Didn't we just give a Yoga? What was the Lenovo you gave to?
Yeah,
Steve?
It was a X380 Yoga to Steve.
Yeah, so that one had like power supply issues or something. Just something we didn't really feel like.
You know what it was? Is there was so like I was trying to troubleshoot that laptop myself because I thought it was really cool because it had a touch screen and a stylus. And then I went online and I tried all the different things that I could find, and then it kind of came down to there's a video I was watching where a fella was taking apart one of those, and he was saying that like there's a voltage regulator or something that will kill the power before it even happens if it detects a higher voltage rail like bridging with a lower voltage rail. And I'm pretty sure that's what was happening because there was nothing indicating that the battery was bad. I even bought a new battery and put it in and it didn't do anything. There's nothing indicating anything else. I reseated everything that I could and it was just like totally dead to the world, but it didn't really make sense. So I was like, it's got to be one of these things. So Steve can figure that out. I mean, Steve he hovers over motherboards all day.
He tested the power supply though, and he said he wasn't getting any output from it. So he's waiting for a new one to show up.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's it. Yeah.
So it might just need a power supply.
That wouldn't be so bad.
Yeah. Also, just these mics peak a lot, so you got to keep the voice.
Yeah. I also tested. I'll just move it further down my shirt. I also tested the power cable. And that didn't change anything because I had two separate power cables for different machines.
Okay. Because he was saying like, yeah, the power supply is external, right?
Yeah, it is. Like, but I use the power supply on like the one that my work computer uses and functions on. I plug that into it and they're the same wattage, but I don't know. If he figures it out, whatever. I am happy for him because that's a nice little machine and it's going to take a little work.
I like the light blue wall. It is soothing.
Oh, yes. Wait till we cover it. Jeremy's,
if things go according to plan, he'll be at Vintage Computer Fest with his eldest daughter as a co-driver.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I would love to go, but we just spent 24 hours or more on the road.
Each way.
Yeah, so like 48, basically.
Yep. That was not great.
Yeah, I'm not excited about moving into a car for another
Why do you have so many
couple of days?
Cables?
Gotta move all this Ghostbusters stuff.
What do you need all these coax cables for?
I don't really. Just make a pile. We can chuck a bunch of stuff too. Like honestly, it's not that I need those things. Is every time someone would give me a cable, I would just chuck it in the appropriate bin and not think about it.
I mean, we should keep some things like the really long coax cable. I'm sure we'll have use at some point. And anything that looks like high end or in good shape. But like, yeah, we don't need this many coax cables with the death of cable TV being
well, yeah. Although I'll tell you an interesting thing, Kristen's sound bar for her TV uses a coax to connect to the TV.
Do you still use that white plastic MacBook? really liked that video, BT Way.
Do I? No, actually, my mom does. So what happened there was, initially, I bought another white polycarb dual-core MacBook from a guy on local buy-sell because he'd put a solid state in it and, you know, upgraded the RAM. So it seemed like a good little machine, and it was like, I don't know, $100 or something. And I was like, oh, our mom would love this. So I bought it for my mom. And then I got it back, and I noticed that some of the keycaps were a bit loose, and the power button had like some wear on it and all that stuff. And so the one that I made on that video was nicer, and I just thought I'll give this one to my mom because it's nicer. Although, I mean, God bless our mom. I don't think she's used it since we gave it to her, but that's where that thing ended up. And actually, right now, I've been using.
She took it with her, like to the lake once or something, right?
Well, yeah. Typically, like when she heads out to those spots, she'll bring it with her to check email. But I don't think she really uses it all that much.
No.
Other than that, but.
So you want to show them what you're using now, or tell them what you're using now?
Oh yeah. Well, no, I was about to. Yeah, the I bought Stack's 2013 13-inch MacBook from another video that we did. Because he picked that thing up, was using it for a while, and I think you liked it, but you were just like, it's not really.
Well, my problem with it is that I was using it always on battery, and on battery, that dual-core i5 just isn't enough to run Photoshop reliably. Even on an SSD, it takes a long time to boot, or to load, I mean. And like it was just a bit choppy, and you couldn't do 4K video editing. Like if you're doing any sort of video editing, it had to be 1080p or less, and it was still choppy. And at first I was a little bit upset about this, but then I tried using this on my GE72 VR gaming laptop on battery, and it was similarly choppy. Just laptops just can't really summon that kind of power on battery. I guess M1 MacBooks can, but those weren't really around at the time yet. So I just kind of gave up on the whole thin and light thing. I got a Steam Deck, and I ended up just docking that to my monitor at work for when I want to do editing on my lunch break. And the Steam Deck actually is halfway decent as an editing rig. And then if you mess around with it a little bit, you can increase your VRAM to 4 gig, or not VRAM. Yeah, I think it's VRAM. Like increase the memory that's used for video to 4 gigs. So instead of being like, 16 gigs of memory and only 1 gig of it is shared, you can up that to 4. So like 12 and 4. I actually found that it doesn't just do that, but also when I was using After Effects, it was halfway decent on that too. So yeah, my Steam Deck became my portable editing rig.
One of the challenges while we're setting this up is because I want to use this space as my primary studio space. Got to kind of eyeball, and I think I'm going to tape out some outlines of what I'd like to see for workbenches on the floor. Unfortunately, we only have packing tape right now, which is not the most useful thing, but that'll have to do, I think. Yes. Steve, I know Mac84, Steve is a big fan of Ghostbusters, so we'll show a few Ghostbusters items as we move them.
Jeremy just said 13 hours from our dad's shop. He, I guess, looked up the distance, and the funny part is 13 hours just doesn't seem all that bad anymore, but
not when you got ADHD meds.
It's just wild that you're going from like Canada to the States, and it's closer than going from Canada to another part of Canada.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of Canada. What's the thing that people from Europe always say? Oh, yeah, I'll be in this province. Yeah, maybe we could do a day trip.
Yeah, Kayla was telling me she had
like a full day just to get there.
She had some friends that like she worked with in Madagascar or whatever, and like, oh, we're gonna be in Canada for a bit. We should get together. And she's like, oh yeah, you coming to Winnipeg? And they're like, no, we're going to Toronto. Like, do you understand that like Winnipeg to Toronto is basically like the length of Europe?
Yeah, geographically, it's not ideal.
But to get across our country because Canada is big.
Okay.
That's why.
Oh, okay. What do we got here? I watched that video about Steam Deck today. Didn't know it could do that. That's interesting. Stack, what were we talking about?
Video editing on the Steam Deck.
Oh, right. That could be serious. No, I keep getting old. I'm only 33 though. Yeah. See, like, Stace and I are 35, 34, and that trip was
Took a lot of. I mean,
I'm gonna
powering
say
through on the second
doable.
day. The
Like-
second day was a mistake. We should have just done the 2 nights, but it was just it was 1 a.m. I felt ready to go. Like, why would we stop when I'm still wide awake? And then it was just that last leg of the journey between about, I'd say, 7 a.m. and noon. That was rough.
Yeah,
and
that
we're
part
like
was
swapping
rough.
off every 30 to 45 minutes.
That part was very rough.
Like, all right, I've summoned enough energy to drive safely for half an hour. And then you just like get some shut eye and you get a half hour to go. Like, you know, when your phone is dead and you need it and like you're charging it up to like 10% and then you have to pull it off the charger to use it for a bit. Like,
okay, that's all that stuff.
big late fans of the late Norm Macdonald. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw Norm live when he came here.
Do I like
Norm's
Norm
funny.
Macdonald? Now let me tell you the story about a moth goes into a psychiatrist. I'm not telling that story. It's way too long and I'm not Norm Macdonald. But.
Oh yeah, Norm is hilarious. Was.
Yeah.
I rank him up there with like Phil Hartman for some of the funniest dudes.
Yeah, I mean, at least Norm Macdonald didn't get off by his wife. Well, that is the biggest tragedy in comedy was Phil Hartman's untimely demise.
Space.
We lost News Radio. We lost Troy McClure. Oh yeah, Paul Rubens just recently kicked the bucket.
Yeah, that was surprising actually.
Oh, and Dan's got the Pee Wee's Playhouse VHS set over there.
It's gonna be tough fitting 2 benches in here, I think.
You think? Why do we need 2?
Well, I wanted 2 so that I could work on multiple projects, but maybe just in the meantime.
Okay.
While...
Hold on, here's a thought. Instead of having like 1, 2, could it be 1, 2?
I don't want to do like that because the camera is supposed to aim from this side. So
Yeah, you just scooch the camera closer.
yeah, no sideways.
Okie doke.
Let's see though. I'm just thinking maybe for while we're at this place because we move again in 6 months or 5 or whatever. Maybe just 1 big workbench, or 1 medium-sized one.
Expert, if you are looking for how to do that with the Steam Deck, look up Cryo Utilities, like CRYO. There's a guy who made a utility that just kind of lets you toggle those settings without having to do like all the going into console yourself. Pretty cool.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do 1 bench. I think it'll probably be about this size, maybe slightly larger.
You just do a double, not double wide, like a 1.5 wide, right? Also, are you planning to build it at the shop and then bring it here?
Well, we're gonna pull it apart and then bring it here. We're gonna build it, pull it apart, then bring it here, put it back together.
Yeah.
Because we have to make all the cuts there.
Makes sense.
Yeah, this is about the size, and that is about... Only I had a tape measure here that was larger than 40 inches. Ladies. Yeah, what the H?
Here, just lie down.
You are what?
73 inches?
I don't know.
6'1", right?
2.
74 inches. And then where's the tape measure?
It comes up to about here. Old school. Old school measure.
Yeah, like you just put your fingers out and then...
Okay, well, we'll just round that to the nearest poop. And then we've got our bench size.
Opinion poll.
And then it should be about...
Barbecue or ranch with bacon on chicken? I'll be the ranch guy. I got a ranch tooth. Anybody remembers those old ranch tooth commercials?
I do remember Subway barbecue chicken ranch. I remember that was like a huge... Or no, bacon chicken ranch. Dang it.
Why can't I hold all these limes?
I remember that was a big thing at one point.
I remember back before memes and meme templates were a thing, there were those like Fast and the Furious ones, or it was like, I called them a joke template because I didn't know what it was. It was, you know, Paul Walker, Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, and then Vin Diesel, and, you know, like the face. And like, I thought those were the funniest things in the world. But since the word meme wasn't really a thing yet, and also in its earliest days really just meant like advice animals. Yeah, I remember trying to find that was the worst. I was trying to look at like joke template, like whatever templates. I didn't know what it was called. Tender crisp bacon cheater ranch. Expert with the Por qué no los dos.
That's good for the width, eh?
Oh, that should be plenty.
Yeah. Okay. 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 Oh, wait, you know, I'm supposed to share this on social media.
Yeah. Well, you got a solid group of 12 watching right now.
Nice. Just like the Canadian Painters Group of 7.
What?
Nothing like that at all.
The Painters Group?
Group of 7, you know, Canadian painters.
No, I'm not familiar. Oh, are you talking about like the Italian painters?
No, it's Canadian.
Like Leonardo and Raphael and whatnot?
Oh my God. Do you not remember from like junior high, like art class or history, Canadian history?
I didn't, yeah, I remember. I wasn't in art.
The group of 7, well, I wasn't in art either, but the group of 7 was a group of painters from Canada whose paintings are like hella famous and expensive.
Oh, today I learned.
Just a bunch of old farts who probably domestic abusers.
Oh, geez, really gonna?
I have no proof of that. I
really gonna
even,
make some.
I can't say that with a straight face.
Did y'all see that tourist in Italy that filled up their water bottle with that fountain? No, is there something wrong with that? Is water not for drinking?
You're not supposed to use that fountain.
All right, moving along. You know, I know they're called coax cables, but you know, how do you know it's not a coax cable?
More like co-swass.
We're coaxing it along, you know.
More like a real swass cable.
The fountain of youth.
Use it for butt floss.
The only fountain of youth is to travel at relativistic speeds because time is really just a fourth dimension in space, and we don't really get that because we can't perceive time the way we perceive other dimensions.
And then all of a sudden this guy pops out of the clouds. He's like, diarrhea isn't real. And you're like, I can prove it is.
On a moment's notice? Is that just your life now?
You know what I'm saying? You guys familiar with that situation? You guys ever had to prove that?
That it was diarrheal?
You had to prove something in your life?
I never had to prove nothing to nobody.
Okay, we got to plug in this television. What should we use?
Probably power cord, if I had to guess.
Would you just stop? Okay. I'm going to get a power cord from the kitchen where we store the power cords.
Oh man, we had a USB hub company reach out to us and be like, "Hey, you want to do a sponsored video?" And we were just like, "Yeah, sure." I don't even think we asked for much money either. I think it was just like, you know, $50. We can figure out a fun thing to do with the USB hub. And then they're just like, "No, we were just going to give you the hub." And it's just like, "Yo, we are not so broke that we need to make a video to get a USB hub." Not to
yeah, I don't shame. Like, we don't have any shame to heap on that. But like, yeah, honest to God, like, I'm not going to make a video for a USB hub of that USB hub.
But also just to put it out there, if you want to make a sponsored video with Canadian Computer Collector, $50. Like, anybody remember Whitest Kids You Know? Like, if you want to get with baked beans, you're going to need a can opener. What's a can opener? $50. Yeah, you want to make a video with CCC, you're going to need a can opener. What's a can opener? $50.
Well, yeah, it's like we're not on the, you know, we're not like doing huge corporate deals with anyone or anything, but like,
yeah,
man,
I had that with Fiends as well.
It's hard to justify that kind of content out of nowhere.
Yeah, I had a company reach out to me for Fiends and be like, "Hey, you want to do our like Ridge Wallet knockoff company video?" And I was just like, actually, I think I could figure out a way to make that work. Sure, here's my pricing. And they were just like, "Oh yeah, actually, all we can do is just give you a free wallet and some store credit." And just like, I have a wallet. Not to.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like it's not like we think we're worth $1 million or anything, but at the end of the day, we don't make content about USB hubs, right? Like, so if you want someone to make you a video about something that they don't normally make videos about.
Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship next. You know what, man?
Oh my God.
You know what? I feel like I wouldn't say no right away because like with the USB hub thing, for example, I did actually think up a pretty great video idea that would just use a USB hub, and that could just be, you know, their USB hub, right? But like that's not the same thing as like doing an unboxing. Also, how many of these channels are just out there like basically just getting a free video, just making an unboxing video because the company basically just doesn't want to produce it in-house, right? Like, and I'm
That's
sure
what it
there
boils down to, right? Like no marketing agency on the planet, like my actual day job is in marketing and advertising. You would never take on a job of making a video, let alone anything, for like a $10 USB hub. It just,
I think it was actually a pretty nice USB hub, but still, like,
I mean, it's a nice USB hub, but at the end of the day, like,
manufacturing costs.
Yeah, like if you were manufacturing that and you went to a marketing agency and said we need to make a product video, I mean, they're going to charge a couple $1,000s. They're not just going to say, "Oh, we'll take one of those hubs, baby."
Ron's computer videos, new season.
Ron, yeah,
corporate sponsorship deal.
Let's not talk about NFTs. I think NFTs are the dumbest thing that anyone, and I said it from the beginning.
RFTs, Ron fungible tokens.
Okay, wait, no, okay, RFTs, I'm down.
Yeah, you want some Ron fungible tokens?
Okay, Ron, load us up.
Yeah, I'm in.
Obviously, we've got space. We need you to load us up.
Oh, man.
No, man, you know, okay, the best thing ever, like, and actually, we could talk about, I remember on WAN Show, they were talking about Jack Dorsey's original tweet NFT, and it was like, what was it, like 1.2 million or something?
These are people buying them just to make
like
people think NFTs are worth something.
Like, just,
well, that's what they do at first, right?
You know
just
what
get somebody to buy it for an unreasonable amount of money so that other people think that theirs are worth an unreasonable amount of money, and then people who aren't in on it start buying, right?
NFTs were the world's greatest money laundering scheme. That's what they are.
I feel like that's fine art, but yeah, they're right up there with fine art. Oh, and our buddy who
NFTs are the best money laundering scheme because you know why? No one could track how they increased in value, and no one could justify it. You could just buy an NFT and then sell it for some crazy amount of money, and then just clean a bunch of money with that. You know what I mean? Like you could have like thousands of dollars in dirty money and an NFT, and then you could claim that someone bought it for $1 gazillion, set up that fake wallet, pump it full of the fake money or the dirty money. Suddenly it's clean again, right? Like, or I imagine it's a little bit tougher than that, but at the same time, like holy crap. Well, then there's stuff like that just randomly goes up to millions of dollars. I mean, people are doing nefarious things with that.
You know, JD Renault, our buddy who makes a full-time living as an artist, often is just like he posts the funniest ones too because he plays around with them a bit. But when all these like NFT scammers try to get him to make NFTs out of his art. And I, you know what, like every niche has their thing that they run into with like scammers and whatnot. And it's interesting. I wouldn't have even considered how many people like are still in the NFT space, just trying to get artists to pay them like $50 to turn their art into an NFT. Just screenshot it for free. Yeah, exactly. Or like the person who just made that thing where you could just download every NFT. Right? Because like, you know, you don't own it per se, but you can still just download the images.
You want to throw this? Like, yeah.
Should we be turning that on?
You can plug it in. Let me see if it's in frame.
Yeah, it kind of is. I can see it from here.
I don't think it'll be too aggressive though.
I'll figure it out.
I think it'll be good. Oh wow, we got $6.78. Ron, you donate US dollar. That's huge.
Big money.
In this country, you can feed a family of 6 with that.
I'm trying to figure out what I can unplug to plug this thing in.
Oh, there's plugs on the sides.
Oh, look at that.
Just kidding. You could never feed a family of 6 for $6 here. $6 wouldn't even feed a family of 1. It'd feed a family of 0.6.
Are you just a really small person?
Excuse me, sir.
Are you currently on the cut phase of a workout regime?
Excuse me, sir. I want some more.
There we go.
You what?
You what? You're a wizard, Harry. I'm a what?
I'm not giving any more meal to a 0.7.
Your unit of measurement, Harry. I'm a what?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Indeed.
Where'd I put those zap ties? I think they're in the zap over here.
Or the zip ties that we used to patch up the Scion. What was it, like $8 for 20?
Those were dope zip ties. And you know what's the worst part is I just cleaned up all the automotive crap at our condo, and
so you want to show everybody the Caprice taillights that you have in here, like the full backside of a car?
We had heavy duty zip ties. We had like 3 packs of them, as it turns out, because Kristen's dad's a mechanic.
Zip ties are
He's like, you'll need these.
fantastic invention.
They're really good ones. These ones are decent, but they're from the dollar store, so they're good at breaking.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? Sometimes you actually want the thing to be able to snap if you apply too much force.
Well, yeah, exactly. And you don't need like the high-end crap when you're putting like something on the back of a TV or whatever. Like, you don't need expensive zip ties for junk like this.
If I want high-end crap, I'll just go use the executive bathroom.
Oh yeah.
And that'll be a high-end crap.
We'll have to put an executive bathroom in here.
Yeah, we can do plumbing in an apartment building.
No.
But under the old ownership, we
A
probably
zip
could've
tie
got away with it.
sponsorship, you get to keep them. You know what? That would actually have some value. If they were just like, will you do a video on this and we'll send you 1,000 zip ties? I would just be like, you know what? I think we could make something happen here.
The video could be me saying every country in the world in 1/18 of a second while holding a zip tie from this company.
That a Family Guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that? I could say all 50 states in 1/16 of a second. Oh God.
Like, well, but
Okay, what the H do I do with this stupid coffee table now?
well, I mean, keep it around for now. If anything, you know what we do is we use it to in the room where we have all those books piled up. We put that over top of the piled books, and then we can put something on top without having to have it rest on a pile of books.
Oh, here, I'm just gonna pop this over in the other room for now.
Yeah. Whoop! It's that classic, like the $20 coffee table that literally
The
everybody
IKEA
owns.
coffee table.
Yeah, it's 4 legs and a top.
And a middle.
Ooh, you got the $28 one. Mr. Fancy Garage La-ti-da. My car hole. And now, you all just get to watch as I continue to untie zip ties, because this thing is, when wrapped up, it is too thick for a single zip tie. It requires a second zip tie to be tied to the other zip tie. Yo, dog, I heard you like zip ties. Did you?
I took the mic.
Okay, good. All right. Just checking Dan took his mic off before he went to the bathroom. That's all. You know, I care about you folks. Anywho, moving along. I've got a very long coaxial cable here. Is 2 twist ties. Oh yeah, these aren't zip ties. I'm using twist ties. You know, zip ties just feel kind of permanent with cables, you know? What's that thunder in a bowl sound? That's just downtown Winnipeg, actually. You know, you would think that it was something else, and yet no. That's just the sounds of
You should tell them about the jet plane.
Oh yeah, there was a single-seater jet plane just flying over back and forth. I don't know, for like half an hour today. We were thinking about starting earlier, but then we're just like, maybe we'll wait until this jet has like got whatever it is out of its system. Oh, Macintosh Librarian, hello. Welcome. I am organizing cables while Dan organizes literally the rest of the apartment. We're preparing to put workbenches down here, which I think we're going to be building on Tuesday at our dad's place.
Indeed. There will be a workbench. Essentially, Mac touched the brain. It was farts. Amen.
It's always farts.
Well, let's do another quick tour here. It's been a while since we've done one, so I'll grab this.
Y'all have fun now.
Okay, so here's Stack, organizing tableaus.
We
Here at the tableau. And then over here, we've got a wall of towers and parts. This is more parts and some Warhammer stuff. This is an entire cabinet full of Warhammer stuff, which probably will have to go, and a Lego thing up top. This is the little console space that I've been setting up just as we're working here. Behind that is the new area where we'll be filming. So essentially, this will be the view.
If you can, try to do as many like holding it still for a little bit shots as possible, just for frame rate stuff.
So this will be the regular view that people see. Here's sort of the side wall, bunch of junk. This is the other side right now. Here's where we used to film, which I've turned into a bunch of just sort of cold storage for machines. Yeah, this is one of the previous sort of collectible shelves that I had in the when I was living here full time. And then this is sort of the
There will be no more iMac in the background, Expert, because it died.
Le Lego Pirate.
You remember that one video where we have the picture that I drew that would have been on the screen? Is that iMac? Its power supply just gave up the ghost right as we were going to fire it on one video.
Macintosh Librarian. This one is a shockingly affordable one. I think that, you know, it's going to get worse soon because the building is just acquired by another company, and they're definitely going to up the price. We had a guy come in today to measure windows, to fix the windows. Here's kind of more of the storage here in the kitchen area. There's like camera equipment, more junk. And then there's Stack again. And then his studio for his Formula One channel is going to be in here. But because the guy came to measure windows, we set up a fake bed so it looked like someone was here full time. So don't tell anyone. But yeah, this apartment, for whatever reason, is $700 a month in Canada. And that is undervalued seriously. Even for the city we live in, that's probably about 500 shy of what it should be or would be.
Even for the neighborhood that this is in.
Yeah, like I live across from our provincial capital as well, which is like probably not a bad spot to have an apartment. So,
well, I mean, for crime, it's not great.
Well, like, so it's, yeah, people do periodically break into the building, but that's not as bad as it used to be. Same with the car, because you park outside, but that's downtown in any city. It is nice to be like have your front yard is basically a provincial park.
Yeah, I mean, by all intents and purposes, in any other city, this would be a premium apartment.
This place was owned privately by a family for a long time, though, and it has quite a few suites in it. And so they recently sold it to a larger property management company. So essentially, we're preparing to move out of here in about 6 months because we fully expect rent evictions at some point in time. Where maybe they're not necessarily going to evict us, but they're going to want more money than we are able to cash out for a studio. So basically, we're going to be moving into our dad's store.
Our channels are not making enough money to cover this right now, so we are out of pocket.
We are out of pocket on this place right now, but it's really not that bad. And actually, like, you know, if we did hustle a little more in PC building, it would be especially not as bad. But
yeah, I wouldn't spend like, you know, $1,100 on this place, which is what it'll be at minimum.
Probably, yeah. Once Windows and some other things are in here, it'll probably be a lot more expensive. But at that point, we're going to be moving into our dad's store.
You don't think they'd put Mac OS?
And actually, what I'm really excited about with that is that's actually going to be our permanent home. Like, our dad has owned that store for over 40 years. He just shut down his business, or he's in the process of shutting it down by the end of the year. So we're going to be renting for about $400 a month, candidly, the front of his store, and we're going to be like clearing everything out, putting up our own walls, shelves, like literally everything. And that space is going to be like, very protected because the front door won't even open anymore. We're going to be putting.
Why does this twist tie say "from children" over and over on the back?
We're going to be, the building's covered in a mural, so we're going to be putting wood behind the windows and then ideally drywalling over the wood. I want to do OSB sheets with drywall on top so that you can actually drill into every single spot and use it. And I think, frankly, it's going to cost a little money, but it's going to be worth it because it'll be our, like I said, our forever home.
Yeah,
and once we're in, we don't have to do this again. What is
show
this?
that to the camera? It says "from children."
So part of the message is missing here, but this zip tie just says "from children."
But it says it over and over again. There's no rest of the message. They're just very proud of their child labor. I
bet you if this was a sheet of them, there'd be more letters on like the one above it. But
or this was made by children and they're proud of the work that they did.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing about this hobby is like one of my favorite things growing up was watching restorations of cars. And I didn't even realize that moved into technology. As I got older and I realized, like, I live in an apartment, I don't have a garage where I can fit 1 million cars, I can actually, like, activate those same feelings that I have for the love that I have for computers. Because Stace and I growing up, we used to love building PCs and playing games. I played games probably more than built PCs compared to Stace. Because I remember Stack used to just pull apart old beige PCs and wrench hard drives out of them and chuck them in his. And we were always, we did have a basement where him and I both had PCs set up and we would take apart stuff periodically. So just when I got, when I was single again and had a career, I was just like, let's do it. Let's load up on PCs and Apple stuff and work on old computers. And I can share that sort of part that I like,
the passion
with the YouTube channel.
The fun thing about old Apple stuff too is that like the engineering is just like oftentimes it doesn't feel worth paying for when it's new, but when all the stuff is used and like it all kind of levels out a bit, and then you get to really see all the neat stuff inside. Like I would have never bought a G4 Cube, for example, when it was new, but man, that thing is neat.
Oh yeah, like the one thing that I loved about Apple stuff was that they were models. They were not just pick apart, like it wasn't just a part shelf where people showed up and grabbed stuff, which I think would be super cool, Apple, if you're listening. I know you're not. But I think the part that I like about old Apple stuff is it's like restoring a car, right? Like, that they came with these parts, they had these options. It's a lot easier to track. Like when I like my wall of PCs over here, half of those things I don't even know what they are or what's in them, right? Like, like I've taken them apart, but if you were to just look at it, you would have no clue. So I think like the future that I see for this channel, frankly, is a mixture of really cool, wild, old and new PC builds. I've got some really neat stuff planned. Actually, I should show you the project shelf after this. And then really thorough restorations.
Where did the GTX Titan go?
Right here. Oh no, that's the 970.
No, it's just it's not a box. It's just a loose card. I'm pretty sure I brought it.
Oh, is it in that black basket of video cards?
I didn't see it there.
This one?
I was looking. Oh, this basket. I don't think so. Because I just unloaded it today.
Oh.
From my backpack. Yeah, well, it'll show up again. Anyway, yeah, I bought a GTX Titan recently for $50 because I always thought that card was so cool and I could never afford it. And then I saw one for sale for $50. It performs about the same as a GTX 1060. Oh, it might be. On the couch. And so I thought, screw it, I'll buy it. And man, that thing is, people are like, it feels so premium. So premium, but like, it's got a metal shroud on the fan and everything. It actually does. Despite the fact that it sucks down like 285 watts or something insane.
It actually does feel premium, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it really does have that feeling. It's something I would have never been able to buy new.
Feels premium.
But then when I went to install it in something, what happens is that once the drivers install, it stops outputting video. And apparently there's an issue with the GTX Titan where the drivers on first install will default out of high power mode, and the card for whatever reason just won't run unless it's in high power mode. And I guess it doesn't try to control it in that way before you have the NVIDIA drivers installed. So I'm going to have to pop that into a PC with integrated graphics, figure this out, and then share my journey with everyone. So hopefully other people with Titans can figure that out. Dang, I wanted to show that off, but whatever. It's not important. We don't have a computer to pop it in right now. Anyway.
Mac Librarian, it is fun to be able to get the high-end fancy Apple stuff from you. You know what? Like, that's the part that I love about being in your 30s is like you can do the stuff that you wanted to. You know what I mean? Like growing up, you didn't always have the opportunities. Like I've got so much stuff that I collect now. I've got all the computer junk. I've got Pokemon cards, Super Soakers, Lego, Warhammer, Nintendo stuff. Like not in a huge way for all of it, but like, you know, fairly substantial. I don't know. It's fun. It's nostalgia. I think, you know, we're on this earth for X number of years. We may as well be as entertained as possible.
Okay, so this is going to be the networking box. So you don't have a ton of Ethernet or coax, but between the two of them, this could be Ethernet and coax.
Cool. Expert cars take so much space. Who were the people paying $3,000 plus for them when they were brand new? Yeah.
Nobody. That's why they didn't make that many of them.
Can you computer, if you want to dice into XT PCs up to 386s,
I think you mean dive.
Dive, yeah, or Pentium 1s up to 200, let me know. I'm short on 486s. Yeah, you know, I actually have a box of some really cool old processors that, it's so funny. So I bought a K-Pro portable. And when I bought it from the guy, he shows up and he's got like a bag with hard drives, a bag with RAM, and then another bag with processors. And these are like Ziploc freezer bags loaded to the T's with parts in them.
You could have just said loaded.
And he's like, "Oh, what would you, what would you want to do this?" And I like, "Would you give me extra cash for these?" And I thought, you know, like I don't have extra cash on me, and I'm not really psyched about a bag full of RAM, you know. And so I said, "Yeah, I don't have any extra cash with me. All I got is, I think I paid like $200 or $220 or something for the K-Pro." And he's like, "You know what? I'm getting a whole bunch more stuff next week, so just take this. I need the space."
What's the K-Pro
Thank
again?
you so much. Oh, it's like the old compact portable style computer.
Okay.
And so I ended up getting like a whole bunch of like some old ceramic processors with gold pins and like just really ancient stuff.
I had a
was
box.
really cool. But what's that?
I had a box of stuff like that. Remember?
I do.
Yeah, just before you started collecting computer stuff. But like so many of them, like they were just loose, right? So many of them had bent pins or broken pins, and like it was basically e-waste at that point. Yeah. I think I sold it for $50 to somebody who I'm almost certain was just going to be like melt it all down. When you say bag, how do you say it? Bag?
How do I gotta condense further here.
It boots to the BIOS only because you don't have any drive. Well, you only know what?
Stuff.
That's cool. I think Jeremy's offering Expert a ThinkPad. Look at this community. What a great group, huh? What a nice group. You know what the nice thing about the community, the computer community compared to the F1 community is? Like, it's so tribalistic over there with everyone, like, you know, just frothing at the mouth for their favorite driver or to defend, to rush to their defense. But like, computer community is more just like, hey, I've got this cool thing, and so like, oh, I've actually got this cool thing that you might like that I haven't been doing anything with.
Yeah, I've noticed there's a lot of camaraderie.
Yeah, which is nice.
And maybe we're tooting our own horns here, but I think that there's a lot of intelligent people in this community, and I think that helps.
Yes, that is very true. Well, with how complicated this stuff is, like, the more you learn about it, the more you realize you have no idea how it works.
I know, exactly. Yeah, and that's what the part that I'm endlessly fascinated by is just how complex everything is and gets.
The fact that you can just take electrical signals. Whoa,
what was?
Oh, that's Dad. Well, I'm going to turn off my mic for a moment to handle it. Hello, Dad. Yeah, I'm going to be coming by for around 4 if that's all right.
Oh, this is the partially soldered board. Tell them that you're here because I was supposed to drop some stuff off there too at some point.
Well, where are you going? Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Is there somewhere you could just hide the key that isn't the normal place?
First goes better than life.
I'll be there in about an hour.
All
right, later.
Nothing gets to you.
Yeah, sorry, gang. I thought I pressed the off button, but I basically have to go pick up a mattress and I'm borrowing my dad's van. And we were just coordinating.
Staying fresh, staying cool.
Mike is hot. Good job singing, covering it. Yeah, good job, Dan. It doesn't matter. It's not like anybody's. Oh man, commercials. Remember when everybody used to see the same commercials instead of getting everything highly targeted to them? What a time to be alive.
Do you remember back in the day when we saw the same ads? People think that was so rad.
Okay, so just more power chords.
Nothing gets to you, not even when I number 2.
Yeah, I could do Without Me. That's a song that I know by heart. I can also do Rap God. That's a fun one.
Stack demonstrated his Rap God skills in our LTX coverage, which if you have not seen, folks, I highly suggest. The LTX coverage we did, I would say, was quite good. I think we had a nice couple of bangers there.
Yep. Some llama you assuming I'm immune. What I gotta do to get a 30? I'm superhuman, innovative, and I made a rep so that everything I've made is ricocheting off of me and it'll glue to you. Okay. All right. I haven't picked a spot for the USB Type B cables yet. Man, so many PC power cords. Like every time we give away or sell a PC, we should just include one just to thin the herd.
We need space.
Indeed.
Fresh goes better.
Got this whole bin full of just power cords. Ooh. Power PC power. Like $1,000 in copper right there. I hope not. I hope that copper prices aren't that bad. I mean, they probably are, but
all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come get me, copper.
What's the next thing to attack?
Yeah. The thing is about karaoke is if you want to do a flex, you can either be really good at singing, which I'm not, or you can learn to say words really fast in rap songs, which I can do.
I'm starting to think that I'm a ram god.
I actually did, if anybody saw it, an F1 cover of Rap God about Max Verstappen called Track God. The hardest part was like rewriting the lyrics because, I would say that Marshall Mathers is the greatest poet of the 21st century. And a lot of those words are chosen not just because they rhyme, but because of like the way that you can bounce off of them into the next word. It makes it very difficult to just replace with a word that rhymes with a word that just before that maybe doesn't fit the same rhyming scheme.
What the hell is all this ram?
What do you mean?
Just a bunch
Those
of
are
ram.
blocks of wood, actually, that you're holding here.
Well, the ram section's over there. What is all this doing? I wonder if this is untested.
That's probably on. Well, what do we got? Let me feel it. Like what kind of
ram from all over the world?
Oh, this is all SD RAM. That's probably why we didn't test it.
Well, we have tested SD RAM in the past.
Yeah, but these are like small, like 64 megabytes and whatnot. Probably stuff
we've tested all that stuff before.
Really?
Yeah, I've got a working section of SD RAM.
I thought it was just like the higher densities.
No. Remember when we were really like marathoning testing prep?
Yeah. I for some reason I just thought we weren't testing like 32 meg sticks.
Negative. That would be prejudiced.
Oh, you know what? I think we stopped that when we encountered that. Remember you had that board, that Asus board that wasn't booting? And then we just kind of, I think that's
Honestly,
where
if I had to guess, this is RAM that we've already tested and just got thrown in a bin for some reason.
I don't think so.
I think so, because I tested every stick that was in this place except for like 4 at one point in time.
And have we pulled any RAM sticks since then?
That's probably RAM that's been pulled out and used and stuff to mock up things and then just not labeled again.
Oh yes, and the reason I'd have no memory of that would be because I didn't participate. Because that would have been something you would have been doing when you were working on something.
I don't know what the truth is here. I don't think we're going to find an immediate answer.
I don't think the truth matters because we can just test it again.
That's what we'll end up doing.
Yes,
Okay.
indeed.
Whoops.
I don't think the truth matters. Sum up the 21st century and
Sum up so far other adults while you were in your 30s.
no.
I could make money if I just lie. Anyway, we don't need to get into that. Okay.
Yeah. Keep finding more power cables.
All right, this was something I bought for the Suter. This is another project. All right, how are we doing on the chat here? Let's see what we got. Dip, 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 dip. Sounds building an auctioneer speaking that fast. So nice to have that CRT monitor, a nice comfy chair. Yes, that is the Samsung 13-inch TV with the space decals on it. Good to have something like that for VHS tapes and old consoles. Where the quality is so bad to begin with, it all just seems to make sense. Okay.
13-inch TVs. That used to be what everybody would have if they had a TV in their bedroom.
That's right. That was the old TV bedroom TV.
That's actually yours, isn't it? With the glow-in-the-dark. Oh wait, did you?
That was
is that gold
Rory's.
Sharpie?
That was Rory's.
Oh, that's why it's drawn on.
Yeah.
Outer space. Now he's a tattoo artist. Who would have thought? He's tattooing TVs back in the day.
Cool guy. Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Cool guy. Yeah,
He's
cool
a cool
guy.
guy. Yeah.
Cool guy.
See this guy? He's a cool guy. Yeah.
Is he?
You ever heard of this? Seen this? You heard of this? Cool guy.
Seen this? Heard about this? Every comedian ever.
Seen this? Heard of this?
I can still hear the sound when starting it up. Well, that must mean you're young. If you can still hear those frequencies. So, you know, every time you hear your ears ringing, that's the last time you're going to hear that frequency.
Is that true?
That's what I've heard.
Must be a lot of
In my case, I just
sub-frequencies.
never stopped hearing it.
In my case, I just stopped hearing.
No, it just rings forever.
Boop-a-dee-boop-boo.
Ring, 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 ring. Tinnitus.
Tinnitus phone.
But I had a long career in dodgeball before this. And I'm sure that all those days of wall ball with how loud back in the competitive days when we still had a wall behind us instead of a net, and the people chucking those things at like 115 kilometers an hour, and then it hits the wall and just like with a big thump noise, and then all the refs whistling every hit. Yeah, it's pretty loud. Probably wasn't the greatest. And then also I was tuning a subwoofer once and the bass hit while my head was in the trunk. That also could have done a lot.
Loud and proud.
Thomas B just says fam. What's up, Thomas B? Who's Thomas B? Do we know Thomas B?
Probably.
Well, if we don't, hello. Welcome. We got the 8-bit guy modded his Samsung TV to accept RGB or YPYPBR. YPPBBR. PR. YPPBBR. YPPBPR. That is quite the tongue twister.
Oh,
2 apartments in Canada. You guys must be rich. No, Dan just was getting a ridiculous deal on this place. Kind of like the apartment in Friends. And we just couldn't give it up. But in about 6 months' time, we're probably going to have to because of the building being sold. And now they're actually going to do the necessary improvements to increase the rent.
the rent.
So pretty soon we won't be able to afford this place either. But then we'll be renting out our dad's old antique shop and making a dedicated studio space with like permanent lighting and everything in it. It's going to be awesome. Rich from all those USB hub sponsorship deals. Yeah, man, we're just swimming in USB hubs. We don't even need them to pay us. We're just like the hub is enough.
Whenever I need cash, I just head downtown with a bunch of USB hubs.
We're just like, payment? No. I do this out of the love for USB hubs.
I'm like, hey man, do you want to buy a USB hub for $10? She's like, I'll give you $15, and can I kiss your mouth?
And I'm just like, you could kiss my mouth even if you didn't pay me for the hub, because that's how we do it in Canada. We're so friendly. Just kidding. We're not the Dutch. Wasn't that where like a kiss on the cheek or whatever is a regular introduction?
Oh, there's a lot of parts of Europe where that's normal.
Yeah, not us.
We don't do that.
I've been wanting to rent a small shop here in my town as a YouTube studio myself. Yeah, you know what? You could just do what Rocket Powered Mohawk does and just do it out of your shed. Just put a bathtub in your shed and sit in it. Originally, he was just doing it out of his car in his garage, which I actually really liked. And I tried to emulate that for a little while I didn't have a good space to film in because my attic was getting too hot in the summer. And then people are just like, you just want to be Rocket Powered Mohawk. And I'm like, well, I don't want to be that guy, but I would absolutely love to have that kind of following. And also, I have a cool car to film in. Why not? But, you know. And that's how those things go. Oh, a singular RCA cable. I actually needed one of these recently. Like just the one, like not a pair, but I finally rewired the laser stereo again yesterday, and I think I got it right this time. I didn't hear any crackles from because I had like a power cord pinched against the speaker cord. And then I also had an RCA Y connector, which was broken. So like if it jiggled in the wrong place and you'd lose the speaker, like the left rear speaker, and I literally took that thing apart 8 times this summer. Ugh. Yeah, I got really good. The first time took me like 45 minutes. The second time was like half an hour, and now I can get the radio out in like 5 minutes. Like just boop, boop, boop. I know exactly where to go. I have no shed. My father said that to me once. You're not my real house. I have no shed. Anyway, I built a shed. And then hopefully you don't have winter. As long as you don't have winter, you'll be fine. Other than the city limits, so court enforcement would be all over my butt for a shed that was air conditioned. Oh, is that a thing? I guess, yeah, you can't make it into like a living space, hey? I built a shed on my property and I just didn't worry about it. But also, I just keep stuff in it. So, like, you know.
Well, that was like a little, like, utility shed. I don't think
it's also like a portable shed. It's not a permanent structure,
yeah.
Right? Like, and also, yeah, I don't have an air conditioner going in there.
Yeah, I think so long as it's not permanent, they're not quite as spicy about that sort of thing.
I think also Brits call their garage their shed.
Air.
A secret bunker in the backyard. Yes, under the guise of building a YouTube studio, build yourself a bunker.
Build a bunk turd.
Oh, it's the Italians, Thomas B says, who do the kissing. And also like the postman, right? You just give your postman a little kiss every time they deliver the mail. Your letter carrier, just help keep them hydrated, give them a nice like moist kiss on the lips.
Yes, that's what you always do here.
Yes, that. I mean,
thank you for delivering the mail. It's time to make out.
Okay, this micro USB cable. Oh, it's just the little like sheath is loose. It's fine. I have a basement, but the ceiling is way too low. Yeah, I feel that. My girlfriend's like, how come you can't film stuff in the basement? I'm like, first of all, it's dark. Second of all, it's damp. And like, also, third of all, I only fit between the rafters.
Looks like a dungeon down there too.
Yeah, well, it's a stone basement from 1912, right? Like, but as a man who is 6 feet tall, I have to like go under every board in there. I certainly couldn't film.
Now, let's move this one a little bit. See what's going on. Different angle.
An RV for when you want to cook or film a YouTube video. I have a kitchen to cook in, but thank you. I'm just going to completely ignore the reference you're making. I'm just going to breeze past that. My house was built in about 1939. My first house was built in 1952, and that house was so solid and straight, and just not much that you had to deal with. And my house from 1912, like shimmies. It's just like, hey, What are we doing? What time of year is it? Which door is it going to close? Which ones won't?
You know, it's funny living in this city because we think like, oh, a house from 1912, that's so old. And then there's like, you know, again, we're talking about Europe, parts of Europe where homes are like,
They had to drill a
ancient.
hole in the rock that the house was carved into, like
yeah.
the stone apartment building, and they've got like a hole just for like the one tube for electricity. Like, yeah, like my house was built in the 1300s and it will last forever.
It's just crazy to think about how much history some places have compared to the very small amount that we have here.
Yeah, and we're just like, oh, an old building, like 100-year-old building. Wow, and they're just like, if it's under 200 years old, we don't consider it, or we still consider it new.
Yes. Okay. Just trying to get this junk out of the way.
Got a house with a studio and it's all full of crap.
It's all full of trap.
Trap music, that was a mood for a while there.
I think it still is.
My
for a lot of
exterior
people.
walls are literally built with 1.25-inch shiplap.
Shiplap.
Was that like where they were like, you know, taking like reusing them, reusing the Navy that they didn't need anymore? It's like, yeah, we don't need aircraft carriers anymore, so we'll cut it up into shiplap. We'll cut it up into lap. Well, it's not like normal lap; it's from a ship. Okay, then shiplap.
I believe shiplap is overlapping boards.
I don't really know what shiplap means, so I was just going.
I do believe. Shiplap.
As I wrap a twist tie around a micro USB cable that may literally never, ever
Oh, crap.
get used. Got a 3.5 mil to VGA cable. Wild. Boy. And another VGA cable. Yeah. Oh, here's one I recognize. I think I may have donated this one.
Oh, man, what do I do with the rest of this place? Holy smokes.
What do you mean?
Well, there's still a lot of junk in this one corner where all the storage stuff is, and then against this wall. So I'm going to have to sort through that.
Yeah.
But we've made quite a bit of progress.
It's amazing that you lived in here and you've already moved out and yet the place is still full. But like when you lived in here, it didn't feel like it was more full.
No, I know. It is. It's crazy.
You were very efficient with the space you had, I must say.
Well, there are a
I am
lot more
impressed.
shelves in here back then.
Oh, DVI to HDMI. That's a gooder. That's why I remember this cable.
Love a gooder, you know?
Gooder done. Where you have the camera right now, we're getting a light right in the corner there. I'll deal with that. Give me a minute. Got 3.5 mil to 3.5 mil. 25 sitting on 25 bills. Now, the hardest part of all this cable management has actually just been unraveling these twist ties, which Dan has wrapped up together to keep them, I guess, space efficient. And I see we've got a couple new people watching. Let us know in the comments who you are, how you found us. Hello. Dan is currently turning his apartment into a proper studio. And while he is doing most of the like moving computers and stuff, I'm just trying to go through all the cables to have some semblance of organization. The cables.
We have a lot of cables in this joint.
Does. All right.
Kensington Balmas.
Balma? Like from Dragon Ball Z?
No.
And Dragon Ball? And Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball GT?
Dragon Balls.
I just finished Dragon Ball Super. Color me disappointed.
Oh.
Going to my cable box always gives me anxiety. Hello, Tactical Banana. Is that a friend of the channel?
I'm not sure.
Well, welcome, Tactical
Hello,
Banana.
Tactical Banana. I like to Now that my fruit is working.
I use a tactical banana for scale.
Good. Yeah, this should
Is
even
that
go out here.
The one that... Oh, no, that was the wrong side of the screen. It's this guy. Okay. I'm gonna just... There we go. Get the lights out of frame. Where's Uter? We just want closure. Would you like some of my lollipop? There we go.
You might say we're gonna cook and eat odor for lunch.
Yes.
I mean,
You know what, Tactical Banana? If you ever need to just organize your cable box, just do what I'm doing. And so, you know, like how sometimes a task that you don't want to do, even if nobody else can help you do it, is just made better by having somebody around while you do it. A stream is a great like stand-in for that. Like, I don't want to do this, but at least the people are keeping me company and keeping my mind off of how dull and monotonous the task is.
hang out on the interwebs.
Yeah, exactly. If you two are into cars and trucks, here's a trivia question. What's a courier? If I had to guess, a type of van?
Oh, is that like a Ford?
Like a transit?
Yeah.
I mean...
Or are you talking about people who deliver things like mail?
Yeah, because Dan was a courier for a while. In an EF Civic.
That's right.
At Chewbacca. And Dan has a 64 Chevy that's juiced.
And an EK Civic.
True. And I have a Turbo Laser XT, a Chrysler Laser, not the Plymouth Laser, and a 72 Scamp, and
Oh, first mini truck in 72. That's
Awesome.
neat. Gotta look that up now.
Oh, cool. Like, I guess before there was the Courier, then the Ranger.
Oh, that's neat. Yeah, okay. Kind of reminds me of like an old Datsun.
I can see it.
Similar vibe.
And so this one's going to be like one side is Ethernet. Do you have like a piece of like cardboard or like cardstock I could just shove between them? Because like we don't have enough of either Ethernet or coax to fill one.
Offhand, I'm not sure what you could use.
Literally just a piece of cardboard, but
Yeah,
I don't have any scrap. That's fine.
I don't think so.
I own an 81 Courier and its Mazda counterpart, an 84 B2000. I did know the B2000.
Yeah, B2000, I know, yeah.
I had a buddy in high school who had a mid-80s Ranger. And also Craig Ward had a Mazda truck in high school, remember?
Okay.
You don't remember the Mazda truck?
Oh, right, yeah, the Vote Gandalf truck.
Yeah.
There was a municipal election, and one of our buddies had a cardboard cutout of Gandalf because he worked at a movie theater when the Lord of the Rings movies were out, and so he taped it to the back window in his bed, and then on the tailgate had a sign that said "Vote Gandalf," and drove around the city with a Gandalf in the back of his truck for the entire election period.
Oh, is this that that display out cable like for that Dell that we had? Remember that one?
We give it to Steve.
Well, no, that's extremely like that's the sort of thing where I don't think we would ever want to have to buy it again.
Well, I mean, like the Dell we gave to Steve.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah, because it had that weird cable that wasn't quite like VGA or DVI or whatever, and it was just like it outputs to two monitors at the same time because it's a server. It was
one of those lovely products.
Yeah, it's like this is proprietary for no good reason.
Thank you, Dell, for ruining my afternoon.
I plan to eventually take the two single cabs and fabricate a crew cab out of them. Now that sounds like a project that you should definitely do on stream. Just get the Sawzall out and go to town, man.
Just friggin' give her.
Let's give her.
Friggin' give her, bud.
Just put down and give her. Man, I remember when I started that Canadian Positivity channel, and I thought I would do it kind of like be a man, just like stand there, say a funny line, whatever, and then it just like
Awesome, be a man.
it literally just got 0 views every time. That was also before like I realized that nobody actually watches YouTube Shorts.
YouTube Sharts. Well, they've been good for getting subs.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's better off to like, as on YouTube, it's a little bit different from, I guess, TikTok, where it's algorithmically fed all the time, and that's all people use the platform for. Whereas, like on YouTube, Shorts are more just like somebody pops it open, they see it, like the suggested shorts, and they'll watch one.
Right.
Yeah, but you make like it's so disappointing how they tried to pump it up like you make so much money off Shorts, and then you make nothing. So you have 5,000, 6,000 views, you make like a quarter. I plan to eventually take the 2 single. Oh yeah, we already read that one. And so, as what is this? It's like a DC to DC plug. When would you ever need this?
Which one? Oh,
and then this one. This makes more sense. DC to a barrel plug.
well, you know, sometimes in life you got 2 car lighters and your one car won't start. So instead of hooking it up to the battery.
No, actually, though, do you know where these are from?
I have no idea.
They look brand new. Like they still got the original twist tie on them. The Mazda
Legit.
A-pillars are rotten and the Courier floor is rotten. So take the Courier cab and put it in front of the Mazda cab. That just makes sense.
Sounds nice.
That's that seems like the only logical thing to do with those vehicles. The hell is this? Oh, that's just VGA? Yeah, it looks like it. You got a scanner cable? Nice.
Okay.
A scanner darkly, remember?
Oh, God.
Remember
What was
Scanner
that
Darkly?
anyway?
And it was like it was like the first, like, they filmed it all live action, but then like a computer made it into animation or whatever, so it just kind of looked kind of weird.
Animation?
Animation?
In a Miata.
In a Miata?
Hanging out in the Miata. Sipping frittata or whatever. What is eating a frittata?
Oh man, you ever had horchata?
Sipping
That
horchata.
horchata is such a like delightfully refreshing drink. I
Sounds
never
like-
thought that of a beverage before until I had
sounds
that. I
like
was like,
hippie
there's
crap.
only one way to describe this. And you know what it feels like? It feels like wearing a sweater around your shoulders at the country club.
What is it?
Well, you remember that drink rum chata that I've had? Okay, so it's like a cream sort of based drink, but the horchata is not alcoholic, but it is delightful. Do you have any more people coming by to buy things today? Sweet. Well then, everybody, just to let you know, we're going to keep this going until probably another, like 10, 15 minutes, and then I think we're going to call it a day there. Because I have to go pick up a mattress before 5 o'clock, because my life has been ruined by the Simba 2500 memory foam mattress for the last like year and a half, and I finally given up and bought a different mattress. I've saved some sheet metal from broken incomplete computers and a clothes washer for the Crew Cab project. I once had a Jeep Cherokee, like an XJ Cherokee, that had a road sign welded to the floor to cover a hole.
Our dad used a broiler pan to cover up the hole on a 67 Mustang floor panel.
Yeah, that was the one your foot went through, right?
His foot.
Oh, I thought it was your foot. Oh, I remember that it had a rust hole in the side of it. This was our dad's winter car. It was a 67 Mustang when we were growing up. And we're not old enough for that to be normal. So I remember it had a rust hole on the side so big I could put my fist through it. But I was also a child. Children don't have very big fists. We got a house with a studio and it's all full of crap to add to the walls full of crap. Hanging up on my walls like trophies. And this is interesting. So this is a video card. Oh, is this like for one of those all-in-wonder cards because look, it's got S video, RCA, like.
Oh, yeah, that is, yeah. You definitely want to
That's something I'm gonna keep out. We should go put this with the video cards. That's a cool cable though.
There's a few there that came with video cards.
Yup. To the boss. And I'll take the hood from the Courier and make it the conjoining roof section. Man, you know, like, I wish you the best of luck, but like the scale of this project sounds like if I was telling myself I would do this project personally, I just like, I don't think I have the necessary skills to even start on it. But man, if you can do that, that's sick. I want to see it. I want to see videos of it. I want you to do it live so I can watch. Because that's the sort of stuff I always dream about doing. It's like, oh man, if I could just take these cool, broken old things and especially with cars too, like, man, I don't think, well, I mean, I'm sure there are lots of people who do what we do, which is just sending each other cool cars that are for sale that neither of us are ever going to buy. And it's like, oh, I'm not doing this for myself. Dan would think this is super cool, so I'll send it to him. And then Dan's like, yeah, I also don't have the money to buy that, but that's super cool. And
the
then
important part to remember though is that they're always like Geo Metros and like Honda Civics.
Yeah.
It's never like, oh, we're sending each other supercars that we'll never buy. It's like we're sending each other
I don't even like
$3,000-$4,000 vehicles.
Yeah, I don't even like watching videos on like supercars and stuff. Like stuff that I'll never like realistically buy. Like even if I could afford it, I probably wouldn't. And so, you know, like, yeah, it's kind of a shame when like you start off watching a car channel and it originally it's just full of super cool, cheap cars because that's what they can afford. But then as they get more money, they start buying more expensive, fancier cars because that's also what gets all the views from, let's be real, like kids who haven't had their like pie in the sky dreams broken by reality yet. So like, all of us adults are just like, oh man, I've never realistically owned that, so it doesn't interest me anymore, right? You're just like, man, check out this Geo Metro. Those things are so cool. I had one of those. I'd love to have one again. It was so cheap on gas. That's what really lights my fire.
Honestly, like as a kid though, I didn't even really long for supercars. I was all about just like 80s and, well, probably more like 60s, 70s, and 80s stuff.
Yeah, muscle cars, but also
like
muscle cars
90s
weren't
junk.
obscenely expensive when we were young.
That's true.
Right? Like
they were getting there, but
back when I was just like, oh man, my dream car is like a 1970 Super Bee. They were like $20,000 at the time.
Oh, Jeremy,
$30,000.
well, thank you for the invite there.
Oh man, yeah, for sure. If you ever come to Winnipeg, I'll let you drive a Slant 6 that's been hopped up to 180 horsepower. Oh man, sounds like an old airplane at wide open throttle. It's great.
It is cool. I like it a lot.
I have somehow lost like my remaining twist ties.
There were a lot of them.
Well, I've used most of them, and I had like a small amount left, and I've.
Oh really?
It's like, did they just go in my lap and like?
Oh wait, there's some right there. I think.
Where?
One.
I think that might be all that's left.
Oh no.
Oh, that's fine.
Well, it's worth saving them all.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Oh, here they are. There we go. Still have like 6.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I used to be really into watching people just because like Dan is a little different. Dan buys a car and he keeps it till it's done. And I, for most of my life, until cars got too expensive to do this anymore, I used to buy a new car, or not a new car, I used to buy a car about every 6 months. Because, you know, you buy it for 6 months, it doesn't lose any value after 6 months. You generally don't do any major repairs or maintenance. Then you just sell it on and you always get to enjoy the novelty of something new. And yeah, my Scion was kind of like the end of that because you'd like, you know, $2,500, $3,500 cars don't exist anymore in our area, like where you can actually legally register them. So that kind of sucks, but you know what? At least I landed on a Toyota product because that thing will go for a while to come. We put it through its paces going through BC, driving through the mountains and back like 5,000 kilometers in less than a week. And, you know, the suspension, all the parts that were about ready to go, let go, but
that's so good.
But they were going to go anyway, right? So who cares?
Oh, okay, well, we made quite a bit of progress here. Yes, we are. Okay, and then we got to get you over to Dad's place in.
Yeah, I figure we leave in a couple minutes,
Yeah.
so we can start wrapping things up.
All right,
So-
folks. Well, thank you so much for tuning in today. Don't forget we have Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee, which I don't think they're in the description for this at this point in time, but they will be eventually.
I think they were.
They are on older videos for sure. Oh yeah, we got it.
they're
Here.
in
Okay,
here.
they're in the description. Also, throw us a sub. That would mean a lot if you haven't already, and if you have, thank you so much. Y'all are the greatest. And yeah, this
$1 a
was
month.
just meant to be a casual one. So thanks for joining us while we clean up and get things organized in here. Soon we'll be shooting content. We're putting tables in on Tuesday to actually be able to work on stuff again. So looking forward to getting back to that.
Yeah, we're still doing the Dankbot style. $1 a month gives you full access to the Patreon, and we have no intention of stopping anytime soon. So if you want to see your name in the credits and provide some support, we'd love to have it.
Oh yeah. Well, anyway, we're gonna hit the road.
Yeah.
So take care, and take square, and take square,
take square.
and